Welcome in, latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And wouldn't you know it, still waiting for Cousin Shane. I don't want to leave you guys hanging here. 6 o'clock means something to some of us, right? So appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. Again, Cousin Shane, supposed to be here. He's probably playing EA Sports video game right now. Ooh, baby. People already filing in. I appreciate you. Yeah, hit that like button. We don't say that enough. Like, subscribe, share the show. You know the deal. But a lot of great stuff here on this episode of the show as I try to buy time waiting for Cousin Shane. One thing I did want to make note right off the top, caught a lot of heat in the comments. Oklahoma fans, yes, I do know the difference between Jaxson Dart and Jackson Arnold. I apparently did not know on the last show, but I blame the video game. I mean, is that Jaxson Dart or is that Jackson? That looks like Jackson Arnold to me. The video game's telling me that's Jaxson Dart. I think that's where the confusion lied, at least for my simple head here. But again, where is Cousin Shane? Maybe his internet went out or something. Several minutes into the show now here. But again, I appreciate all you guys for hanging out. At least you guys are here. Cousin Shane may not be, but you're here to greet him. So we do appreciate it. So I guess we're going to talk, if you missed it, all around the SEC. We're going to get to all kinds of comments and stuff. But if you missed it, the coaches poll came out. The debut one, the preseason poll. And quite frankly, we don't give much of a second thought to these rankings. But the first one is somewhat valuable. So let me throw up here. Made a little graphic here and everything. Let's see. Boom. There we go. Let's throw it up. So this is the debut coaches poll preseason. Georgia, number one. No doubt. I mean, if Georgia's not number one in your poll, it's basically irrelevant these days. The odds-on favorite to win the SEC, to win the national championship. This surprised me a little bit. Texas, number 4. A little surprised. I guess not. I mean, hell, they've been getting so much hype. I shouldn't be surprised, but I still am. Alabama, number 5. Again, that's probably a little too low for Alabama, in my opinion. Number 6, Ole Miss. Feels about right. I'd actually probably have Ole Miss a little bit higher. Missouri, 11. I know Cousin Shane. He has showed up. He's in the background here. He's going to hate that. What a disrespect to Ole Miss. Excuse me, Missouri, number 11. We got LSU, number 12. Again, that's a little rich for my blood. Maybe around 20th, I'd probably put LSU. Maybe even a little bit lower. Tennessee, 15. Oklahoma, 16. Texas, 8. My goodness, Shane, what has A&M done to be ranked in the top 20? Again, they got a lot of nice pieces, but I don't think Mike Elko even wants to be ranked. And then these other ones, these are not technically ranked, but they're in the receiving or others receiving votes. Auburn, 32. Kentucky, 37. Florida, 38. South Carolina, 39. And then, unfortunately, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, not even listed in those. So we'll get to that in just a second. But, Cousin Shane, where the hell have you been?
Look at this angle and everything. Oh, sorry, Pilates class went a little long today. So, and then my camera's all jacked up. Look at it all zoomed in, but whatever. You know, a little closer to the action, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing? What did I miss? Anything? I miss anything?
Well, I said, last I butchered Jaxson Dart, Jackson Arnold, but yeah. I blamed it on this. I mean. That's where I got it from. But that's about it, Shane. This coaches poll. Anything jump out to you real quick, just for the audio folks tomorrow? Georgia 1, Texas 4, Bama 5, Ole Miss 6, Missouri 11, LSU 12, Tennessee 15, Oklahoma 16, A&M 20, Auburn 32, Kentucky 37, Florida 38, and South Carolina 39. Anything jump out to you there?
Bama being that high, I just think, obviously you're just so used to doing it. So I think that's why but that's a lot of pressure too. You know what I'm saying? So DeBoer would be taking it. Same thing with A&M being the top 25.
Yeah.
I think that one kind of stands out. The other ones I kind of expected, but that Tennessee-Oklahoma, look at them, man. That's going to be a hell of a football game, ain't it?
Hey, real quick, Shade.
Yeah.
Michael Riley, we're going to have to hire this guy at some point to write jokes or something. He says, Cousin Shane's out counting to 11 with Billy Napier.
I was cleaning the locker room. Sorry, it took so long to get here.
But yeah, I mean, again, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with ranking A&M, but quite honestly, I'd be fine not ranking them. Like I feel like you got to earn that. I think Mizzou should be in the top 10. LSU should not be number 12. That's a little rich for my blood. But here's what really stands out to me, Shane. Tennessee 15, Oklahoma 16. So virtually no separation.
Yeah.
And then Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina 37, 38, 39. I just love the fact that I bet all these, Oklahoma fans think they're better than Tennessee. Tennessee thinks they're better than Oklahoma. Kentucky thinks they're better than Florida. Florida thinks they're better than Kentucky. I don't know. I mean, we are just so smashed together here. That's just another reason that this is going to be such a great season because we're all so close together here. You know what?
Well, let me ask you, too, since we're on this note, the NA's there, so they didn't get a single vote type deal, or is Vanderbilt really ahead of Mississippi State in some sort of...
No, just...
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
They didn't get a single vote, so I just...
Yeah, they're hanging this one in the stadium there. That not dead last. What about that? Mississippi State there. So, hey, I just find it... looking at this, again, showing you how strong the SEC is, and I can make an argument that they probably missed 2 or 3 of them, because I guarantee you if you drop Florida or drop Kentucky or drop Auburn and in the ACC or the whatever, they're going to find themselves in a top 25 situation because they probably have a top 25 team. But unfortunately, they're going to beat each other up this year. And so, I don't try to get too upset over preseason rankings, especially with coaches, but it just, again, it shows you how strong this conference is. The fact that we have made arguments that let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the top 9 teams, we've made arguments on why they can make the college football playoffs this offseason.
And shout out Cousin Rick. Again, I probably should have included this, but I'll just do it now, Shane. Just some high-profile non-conference matchups for the SEC, their opponents. Notre Dame, they're playing A&M in the opener. Yeah. I got a little bit more on that to come, but Notre Dame preseason number 7. Mm-hmm. Michigan, defending national champions, cheated their ass off to get there, but Michigan, they play Texas week 2 at Michigan. Michigan's number 8. Let's see, Florida State, they obviously play Florida at the end of the year. They're number 10. Clemson, who plays South Carolina, obviously in the finale, but also Georgia in the opener. Clemson's number 14.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, who Arkansas travels to Oklahoma State week 2, they're 18th. Miami, who opens at Florida, they're 19th. And then North Carolina State, Tennessee plays them week 2 in Charlotte, they're 22. And then Southern Cal, who opens the season against LSU in Las Vegas, they're 23. So that, just by my count here, that's all the opponents that the SEC is going to be facing there.
Again, top 25 matches, a lot of them early in the season too. So that's why this list is going to go right out the window. But some of these guys are going to need top 25 wins too. So it's having NC State up there. I think ball fans are excited about that. Having Michigan up there before they have to give back every victory they've ever had. It's nice having them in the top 25. So, let them be up there. Let them enjoy their shining light right now, because SEC is about to rip through them.
Yeah, and real quick, before we get rolling here, Shane, again, we're loaded again all across the SEC. I want to give a special shout-out to Cousin Brad. I said it on the last show. Hey, my dad and I, we want to go to the Tennessee at Oklahoma game. He hooked it up immediately with tickets, so I appreciate you, Cousin Brad. Just want to make a special shout-out to you. And, Shane, I was looking at the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is going to be college game day. I think SEC Nation, Feinbaum show, all that. I think they're all going to be in Norman, Oklahoma, legitimately. So, I mean, this is setting up to be one heck of a SEC debut for the Sooners.
God, we got some killer cousins out there. You know what, Mike? I wish I could go to Waffle House, but I just can't afford it. So if anybody wants to email that SEC podcast at Gmail.
All right, Shane, let's get on with the show here. I meant to mention this right off the top, the last one, but I just totally omitted it. But Kentucky slammed, Shane, by the NCAA here. Well, I guess we're some cheating bastards up here in Kentucky too, Shane. That's so close to Michigan. I guess we gotta cheat. But nah, in all seriousness, they did get kind of smacked by the NCAA.
Yeah.
But leave it to Kentucky, Shane. I saw this. I wish I could credit it. I can't remember who said this, but leave it to Kentucky to get hit with paying players in the NIL era and still getting in trouble from the NCAA. But that's essentially what happened. All that really happened, Shane, they had these guys that were doing these no-show jobs. They were clocking in, and then they were walking right out the door. They got them on videotape and everything.
Kind of like me at media days.
So 11 football players apparently were involved in this scheme. And now, remember, I mean, this happened so long ago. Remember, Chris Rodriguez got suspended for a couple.
Yeah.
That's what all this was. And it's not that bad. They're put on probation, so we can't be doing this anymore. Otherwise, we could get some real issues here. And then basically every win they got, 10 wins, Mark Stoops got taken from the record book. But we all know they really happened. So who the hell cares? You know what?
Yeah, it was a good season for him. So you were there. You got to enjoy it. Who cares if they take it away? So, but I am curious. So there was a 2-year. Is it a 2-year probation? So not a bowl ban or anything, right?
No, nothing like that. No
Okay.
scholarships taken away. No postseason ban. But
What's the probation then? Just like don't do it again.
Yeah, if they do it again,
Oh god.
then they could get in trouble. You know what?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. News is slow, and that's what they lead with. They made it sound like that they were just about to destroy that football program, but basically NCAA said just don't do it again, please.
Right. Well, and then we'll continue on with Kentucky. Shane, some unfortunate news, but senior nose tackle Josiah Hayes, he's likely out for the season. Mm-hmm. Mark Stoops confirmed that. Our buddy Nick Roush actually reported that back in June. I believe he was the first one. So, but if there's one position where Kentucky, again, you don't want to lose anybody. Yeah. But if you're going to lose someone, it's in that front seven. It's going to be the strength of their football team. Again, losing a senior, I believe he's a redshirt senior on the defensive line, that's not good. But this is not going to cripple Kentucky is basically the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, I mean, you hate it. I mean, we talked about this with Tennessee the other day. It's just it may not be, but it could be. You know what I'm saying? When you get Game 5, Game 6, and that depth is what you needed because maybe there's another injury. So you just hate it for the kid, especially because they work so hard to get up to this point. Man, I'll never forget. True story, Mike. I know you guys don't want to hear stories, but I'm going to tell you one anyway. So my freshman year, they had this thing. It was called the blood box. And basically it's just this barbaric thing we do where we get 4 dummies and we're trying to find out who's the strongest guy on the football team. So it was me and this other cat. We were going, and I really thought I was going to get my ass kicked. And I surprised him, I think. I got good leverage, knocked him out. Well, the second go-around, he beat me. And so we got all fired up. Third go-around, blow my knee out. Last physical practice. This is Shane Luck 101. Last physical practice of the year. Last minute of the practice literally ended as I'm getting carted off the football field. I thought my kneecap was laying on the damn turf,
Right.
But long story short, I rehab it, get everything right, and I'm ready for my sophomore season. Make it through 2 days, and right before game action, I'm doing the chain gang with some buddies, and I go to throw a football, and pop, it pops out again. So all that work. So I feel bad for these kids because I understand. You did all that work in the offseason. It's almost time to play some football, and then all of a sudden you get hit with an injury, and you got to wait another damn year. So, yeah, every time I hear one, I always feel bad for these kids.
Right. You haven't worked out since.
That was the last time I threw a football.
Hey, how about this one from Cousin Taylor? Appreciate you, Cousin Taylor. $5. he's talking about Kentucky. They have to cheat so that Cousin Shane doesn't win all their bourbon.
We did win that year, too. I did look. I was like, did we lose? Because I'm going to try to ask for that whiskey back. But no, Tennessee got to win that year.
The Flying Hawaiians let me know I'm holding up the dynasty, so I appreciate you for coming in there. But, hey, again, Mark Stoops, Shane, I think this is pretty fascinating because you just, at least me, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Longest tenured coach in the SEC now with Nick Saban hanging him up. So year 12 up there in the bluegrass. Let's kick it over to Mark Stoops talking about being the old head there at the SEC.
Mark, 12 years is not to call you old, but that's a long time.
Oh, no, you can.
You know, to still have to learn so much about the sport. Obviously, it's changing so much, and then the rule changes, college athletics as a whole. Does it ever surprise you how much you still have to learn each and every day?
No, that doesn't. It doesn't. You know, that's been that way, since day one. When you walk in here, I said it, 12 years ago, through some ups and some downs, and mostly downs early on, but that I was prepared for it. I knew what I was getting into. That doesn't mean that it's easy. That doesn't mean that you take it all in stride. Every day you walk in there, there's a new challenge or something you have to deal with, and I embrace that. There's young men that are going through things in there that need counseling, that need talked to, that you got to put your arm around sometimes. You got to push them when they don't want to be pushed, and I love that part of it. And so there's just different challenges each and every day, and I feel as good about that right now as I did then, as far as embracing those challenges, and sometimes they're more difficult than others.
How well of a job?
All right, Shane. So again, will that help Kentucky, you think, this year? And it was interesting. I saw, I think it was Teddy Lehman used to play at Oklahoma. Now he does an Oklahoma show, and he was kind of making fun of the SEC, basically saying, well, hell, none of these teams aside from Georgia, at least with the current coaches, have done anything. And, I mean, to an extent, I guess that's true. But I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is continuity is kind of lost right now in the SEC with guys like Drink, Sam Pittman, and Lane Kiffin out. So there's Stoops, there's Kirby, and then it's those three guys I just mentioned who just got hired, it feels like. Those are our longest tenured coaches in the SEC. So just a lack of continuity all across the conference. Could that really benefit Kentucky this year, you think, in a new look SEC?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. Because I think of it like work. If you have a boss that's been around there for a long time, there's some good things with it because at least expectations and what's, kind of that culture that he's created there. Especially when you're hiring other coaches, they come in, it's Stoops. But then sometimes it's like, but are we evolving? What are we doing to think outside the box? Because sometimes, if you've been there for a long time, you can be a little stagnant, and so I think it has its pros and cons, and maybe with this team, as much veteran leadership that's coming back, I think it would be more of a pro because, again, like-minded individuals on that team knowing exactly what coach do. We may have new assistant coaches, but we know ultimately what is expected here in Lexington.
Right. And one thing, though, that will be changing, Shane, for the first time, at least first time in a good while, Kentucky's going to run a little bit more up-tempo.
Hey,
now, when you hear that,
box.
Yeah, well, and they've really struggled to defend that as well. So that's kind of part of it. But the way Stoops tells it, and I thought this was kind of interesting. They're not trying to be Tennessee Ole Miss, but he goes into further explanation here with their new quarterback, Brock Vandegrift. It's going to be pretty fascinating to see because I think this going more tempo, they're doing it to simplify things, which should really help Brock this fall.
Mark, you've been saying
Hey, you want last question?
you've been saying that you've been wanting to snap the ball a lot more frequently and play at a maybe higher tempo this year. How have you been working on that tempo with the offense, and how much are you going to be working on making sure that
Again, I think I want everybody to understand this. I've said it 20 times. Yes, I do, but I'm not trying to be a tempo offense. We're not trying to be, Ole Miss and Tennessee and some of those teams that do it exceptionally well, and they just snap it with 30 seconds on the play clock. That's a different style, and it's very difficult to defend, and they do it very well. That's just, we can't be that overnight. I just also don't want to snap it with 2 and 3 and 4 seconds on the play clock either. I'd like to see more snaps. So there's going to be a balance there. We're not trying to be in a complete hurry. We're just trying to be more efficient, get in a rhythm, and get some more plays off. So any of these offensive coordinators have that ability to go super fast, to go medium, to go at the line. I think just trying to get in a rhythm and hopefully get some more snaps. That also comes from getting first downs. If we get first downs, guys are going to get more touches. So you have to make sure you're still putting them in a position to be successful. And again, that's just like I touched on earlier, defense getting off the field, special teams putting us in good position, and offense getting first downs. You do that, then we're not going to sit here after a game saying, why did so-and-so only get so many of this and so many of that? Because we only had 55 plays, 60 plays. That's frustrating, because I do feel like we have some playmakers, but we have to get first downs, and then we'll get more touches.
So he's running the Cousin Shane style offense there, fewer snaps and everything like that, whereas they want to go more RPO, which is how I go up and down the field on you. But I think it's smart with Brock Vandagriff and these weapons that they're going to have to work with. And again, the offensive line, that I didn't play the clip there, Shane, but he was asked about it, and he says he's got a lot more confidence now with Coach Wolford back, with the pieces they have, because the offensive line has been a concern the last couple of years after the long-standing big blue wall tradition. So I think this could really help the offensive line too.
Yeah, and again, I also look at the fans. It's like when you go against a Tennessee or Ole Miss, you got to be thinking in the back of your mind, why can't we do this? I feel like this is a team that can do it. I feel like they got weapons on that side of the ball. We got a veteran offensive line, so less mistakes when you're going up tempo. You've got a lot of weapons on the outside, which is going to help Brock. And then you got a mobile quarterback. So there's a lot of great pieces to do that. But I like the idea of being able to do it and throttling it back. Just like Mike keeps mentioning with the dynasty. I like to go quick, get the score, and then I'm chewing that damn clock in the fourth quarter behind the big blue wall,
Oh, it's painful. It's painful. Hey, Cousin Justin here. $5. Appreciate you, Cousin Justin.
Thanks,
no comments or anything like that, but hit us up with a question. We'll answer it for you. Cousin Rick coming through again, Shay. $20. Appreciate you, Cousin Rick.
Thanks, cuz.
What happens to the rankings when A&M beats number 7? Well, then it's going to start the damn hype train all over again, Shane. That's I think what we're worried about here. If we're A&M, again, we'll get the hype train rolling here, because again, I keep saying it, if Notre Dame is number 7, and I'm not saying they're that good, but if they're beating number 7, I mean, there's very few teams on here they're going to lose to. Maybe Missouri, maybe LSU, maybe Texas, and that's about it, unless Florida gives them one hell of a matchup down there in the swamp.
I saw you stoking that fire, man, when they had a little injury on their side of the football. You were like, hey, Notre Dame's going to be without a tackle, Right, yeah. So let's go right there, Shane. That's what I was going to mention. So, again, we're not celebrating an injury, so it's awful news, anything like that, but it has to be noted. Notre Dame offensive tackle Charles Jagshaw, I'm sure I butchered that, lost for the season. Now, he has a nickname.
Yeah. He lost for the season, Shane. He was a projected starting left tackle, so that just another blow heading into this opener. And where is A&M the strongest? On that defensive line, Shane, with guys like Shemar Stewart, Nick Scorton, the transfer from Purdue. I got some comments here, Shane, from Shemar Stewart. He sounds pretty damn fired up. This is 2 clips put together, but he's got high hopes. Year 3, money year. He's got incredible expectations for what he can do on that defensive line, Shane.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm angrier than ever.
Why is that?
It's the 3rd year. You know what that means.
Well, since you brought that up, now that you're in your 3rd year, and with Shemar Turner moving inside and Nick Scorton, what do you kind of project for that defensive line?
Man.
And the pass rush in particular?
All I got to say is be excited.
Be excited about what?
What's to come?
Okay. Hey, You said you wanted to just be the best Shemar Stewart. So what does the best Shemar Stewart look like when you think about what could be accomplished this year?
15 plus sacks.
15?
When you really look at it, last year I was this close every time.
So who do you think will be the best pass rusher on that front, on that defensive front? I guess you, Scorton and Turner are going to be chasing you?
I'm not going to say that. I would say it's going to be a close race the whole season long.
Close race to the point.
Yes, sir.
15 sacks, Shane. Does he get there?
Oh, buddy, I don't know, man. He's got a lot of confidence, don't he? It may happen week 1. I don't know, you know. I was enamored by that hair. Could you imagine me with that hair? I would love to have that. I'm jealous, you know.
I think you'd be fine with Eddie hair.
I know. You know. Yeah, this turned to therapy session real quick, didn't it, Mike? No. Hey, I'm excited. I'm excited, and I will say this about kind of that preseason hype. I wish they weren't 20. I really do. I want them to prove it. I know that they can prove it. You can kind of see that locker room. They don't need to be patted on the back right now. This is a group that just got Jimbo out. We've got Elko back. We've got this is going to be a tenacious defense. And I think it all starts up front with those guys, those big uglies up there. And you could kind of sense that swagger there. I love this video. I want to see more of this.
Right, and if you missed it, go check it out. Last episode, I mean, Elko says this is going to be the best secondary, or at least the best players they have on the secondary in 6+ years. They've got outstanding linebacker York Shane. He's a true sophomore. He's a team captain. I mean, how often do you see that in the SEC? And then they're talking up the defensive line like it may be the best in the entire SEC, and if it is, that means it's probably the best in the country. Again,
Mike, if these boys are getting 15 sacks up front, we may be the best secondary. I mean, we can just sit back there and drink our cold beer and let them boys play.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, how about this one from cousin Steve here, Shane?
Thank you, cuz.
Boomer. Just want to say I love y'all. I enjoy y'all's show. You guys make college football more fun and still give us the facts for the most part. Dart. I swear I'll learn the quarterback's name at some point. Hell, we interviewed him at SEC Media Days. You know what?
Oh, dude, you know what I've had the toughest time with? Brent. I kept going back and forth. I'd say Brett one day. I'd say Brent the next day. That's the one I've had trouble with Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Now I'll just throw it out there. Now you're going to start doing it.
Wheels and levers, $5. Appreciate you. Michigan, the biggest cheaters since the criminal interloper suitors in the 70s.
Hey, have you been following that at all? I've seen bits and pieces of it. I am kind of curious. So there was some deleted text messages or something like that?
Yeah, I gotta be quite honest with you, Shane. I haven't really followed it, but it doesn't sound good. I'll just say that. I think Jim Harbaugh knew exactly what he was doing, making that jump to the NFL because they can't get him there.
Oh, well, I thought it was funny. What's the coach's name up there?
Sharon Moore, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to give this kid a shout out, but there was that scene and Bain was coming off the plane, you know, and all the guys are getting their parachutes on and he just puts his hand on me and says, they're expecting one body. You know, it's like, that was kind of.
He'll be hired by Harbaugh in a week, you know, once he gets
absolutely.
banned by the NCAA.
Yeah, he said, enjoy it for a season, then you can come up here with me.
Right. Well, hey, Shane, one we didn't get to last time. I was really trying to get to it, but let's kick it all down to Auburn next, where, my goodness, Shane, Hugh Freeze and company are on a heater. They currently have the number 5 recruiting class in the country.
Yeah.
They're out to make me look like a fool, which about half these teams do about any year. But so much high hopes on the plane, Shane, because all these incredible freshmen they have, particularly at receiver. So Hugh Freeze was asked, what is the key to getting a young players like a Cam Coleman, who should be a day one starter? What's the key to getting the most production out of them immediately? It's easier said than done, but Hugh Freeze has been a part of a couple staffs that have done it. Let's kick it over to him.
Hugh, you talked at media days about having freshman receivers have really good year ones. In your opinion, what does it take for a guy right out of high school to play that position and be a contributor as a freshman?
Obviously, you have to have the skill set and the ability to separate from some of the best athletes in the college game. They play DB at these other teams that we're going to play. So it's impossible to do that if you're not blessed with a skill set. And then secondly, I think it's a mentality of this play the next play. I'm going to win the next play no matter what happened on the last one. And yeah, I got it wrong and I didn't run the right route because I'll do that some as a freshman, but I am not phased and I don't go in the tank. And so I think it's those two things. Obviously, picking up, having the IQ to handle the game plan and the adjustments that you have to make against all the different coverages is important too, but it really starts to me with the skill set and them, their mentality of you know what, just because coach is raising Cain because I ran the wrong route or didn't make the right adjustment, I'm not phased and I'm ready to play the next one.
All right, Chase, well, let me ask you this, though. Any concern? Because, again, we're all undefeated. We're all going to have a great year. We're going to prove all these doubters like Mike wrong.
Yep.
But how confident are you that if we're relying on a bunch of freshmen here at Auburn, that we could have a really good season? Does that concern you at all, or are you just in the mindset that these guys are monsters and they're going to be immediate contributors?
Not in August. August, I'm good with it, you know. I think all fans are like we're just optimists, you know, when
right.
It comes to this point. And we're only seeing the good that comes out with youth. And maybe not so much youth, but just the unknown, what it could be. And we're hearing the right things with the recruiting class, and we're praying to God that there's some development going on here, that Payton Thorne takes that step forward, that this team looks night and day different than it did last year because Hugh Freeze is completely dialed in and he got his guys finally. So I feel that. I feel the optimism there, and I totally get it. But early in the year, when you pull that schedule up, one of the best things I think that is going for Auburn is the fact that they've got 5 home games in a row. And when you have youth and you have inexperience, that's the benefit for me, is the fact that you are at home. It takes out a little bit of that crowd noise, takes a little bit of that pressure because, buddy, after Oklahoma, you talk about ramping up with Georgia and Mizzou back-to-back on the road. That's when youth and inexperience is going to be exposed. So, but the nice thing is you've got 5 weeks to get these guys acclimated.
Right. Well, I certainly wish Hugh Freeze was locked in last year, Shane. But again, hey, new year, turning the page.
Anything positive comes out with Auburn. My favorite thing is to click on the tweet or whatever it is and scroll down till I see Michael Bratton, because I see you get tagged in that more than anybody.
Yep. Well, it's year 2 for Payton Thorne. What's the difference going to be? New system, Hugh calling the plays, all that. You spoke on that as well.
Hey, Coach, Jonathan Hoppy with WTVM. Payton Thorne, second year as your quarterback here. What are you looking to see from him over the next few weeks, and what will your conversation, or what have they been like with him leading up to this camp here?
Yeah, we've had great conversations all summer. Had good ones. I think he is starting to learn my mindset, just like in this morning's meeting. We've got a concept going on. And there's one look that I don't think this concept has an answer for, and not many people really would see it that way probably or know it within our building. But because of our meetings, I'm getting ready to say it in my mouth. Now, whoa, this one right here, this is the one. And Peyton's like, we've already talked about it. I'm going to check Fitch right there. Good. I'm golden. I expect to see him at this age of his career to know my mind and to know the adjustments to get us in the best possible scenario, whether it's pass or run, and to know situational football. I expect that of him, and it's my job. Ultimately, the buck stops with me, and I have to own the what his performance is. But if it's 3rd and 1 and we have an RPO called, you know what? I have given him the tools to get the first down without having to throw the football. And so we have to understand the entirety of the offense, and I feel really comfortable that he's at a point that he's in pretty good position for that.
Now, Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we hear this exact same spiel last fall camp?
No, if I had a daughter, I'd let him date. Yeah, we did, but now it's like another level, Mike. I mean, we're texting all the time. We're sending cat videos to each other. We're having a great time down here on the Plains. Yes, I do want my head coach and my quarterback to be on the same page. So it's a little comical when they're saying they're thinking the same, which I hope not. I really do. I hope Payton but I do hope that he does take that step forward. And I feel like I think that's what's getting lost because, again, and I've hit on this before, with that quarterback controversy with touchdown Robbie last year and the questions like, who's the guy? Is this the guy? Yada, yada, yada. There's no confusion down there. This whole offseason, they built an offense for Payton Thorne. So I feel like that this offense is going to be in a better place just because of that alone.
Yeah. Well,
I know. Dollar G. I get it.
I hope so. All right, Shane, how about let's move on. Cousin Jared, $10 donation. Appreciate you, Cousin Jared. Cousins, about time I caught a live show and go Tigers. We appreciate you, Cousin Jared. You gonna like this one. So their standout tackle, Shane, All-American, Will Campbell. Some people saying he could be the first overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft.
Number 7. That's a big one.
Yep. Maybe I don't have it uploaded real quick here, but I thought I did.
The file's so big.
Damn it. We'll have to come back to that one. But Shane, again, LSU. What would you say about this here? LSU. Kind of buying time now here. I'll pull up their schedule here. Again, Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Barely top 25. Is that good for LSU? Is that bad for LSU? What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's good. And one of the reasons I think it's good is because USC always gets a little overhyped, and I think that's why they're in the top 25. And LSU obviously really struggled out of the gate last 2 years against Florida State. So I think this is a big one, man. Because everybody's quick to talk about maybe it's Ole Miss this year. Oh, Georgia's number 1, Alabama, yada, yada, yada. Well, if you come out here and you blow the doors off USC, top 25 team, with what's his name? What they call him? T-Bow, out there. Absolutely. If that happens, then all of a sudden LSU is a legit contender. And I think that's the thing, because a lot of people have marked them off, yourself included, because the Heisman candidate's not there anymore. 2 first-rounder wide receivers are gone, yada, yada, yada. The offensive line didn't go nowhere. Well, you know what? We're going to run the ball next year. So I think that's the best part about this USC game for me is I feel like we're going to get to see what is LSU a legit contender.
Right. Well, if you ask Will Campbell, Shane, they certainly are. So I finally got it here. Let's play it. Or let's try to play it.
Dude, don't. Who knows?
What do you like about this team so far?
The grit. I'd say that the grit and the toughness. This offseason, we had probably one of our best off seasons we've had since I've been here, just from a work standpoint, pushing ourselves, guys pushing each other, competing every day, and everybody here wants to win. I mean, it's year 3. It's time for us to do something instead of just winning 10 games. I mean, 10 games is cool with other schools, not here. 10 games gets people fired, people replaced. So it's time for us to do something a little different and win a national championship.
Come on now. Oh, Mike, why are you so low on LSU? If Will Campbell was in your room right there right now, would you tell him that they don't belong in the top 10, Mike?
I told you that clip was worth the wait, wasn't it, Shane? I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear from your best player, from the guy that's a leader. And they also talked a lot about how, it's a new offense. It's a different offense. They're going to be led by the ground game. They're going to be led by that offensive line. This is exactly what I want to hear when you got, flash over here at Ole Miss. You got coaching change at Alabama. You got this, you got that. Hype Missouri, on and on and on. Just don't talk about us. Keep disrespecting us. We're gritty. We're going to whoop your ass in the line of scrimmage. This is exactly what I want to hear from Will Campbell.
Dude, he's the voice. He's the voice of that football team, and you could sense it. There's no last year we were so close kind of talk. No, they were building for this year. Jaden Daniels is awesome. Neighbors is awesome. But this offensive line will be wearing Pro Bowl jackets one day. So I love this attitude because, sometimes that gets lost with, we talked about Coach Stoops going 5 wide and fast tempo and whatever. Man, you don't understand when you're in that huddle and the coach says, hey, we need 3 damn yards and we're going to run behind you. That's the attitude we're going to have on this football team. And just like you said, just the grit. I can't wait to see LSU week 1.
Right. Hey, here's a follow-up from Cousin Justin here. I'm an idiot. Didn't understand how the Super Chat, that's how you donate. Anybody looking to donate, Super Chat. Paying again with a message here. Hogs win 7. I'm giving y'all B-Dub gift cards. So appreciate you, Cousin Justin. Let's throw up Arkansas schedule here. What's he saying? Win 7. What is the path to Arkansas getting us some B-Dub gift cards here, Shane?
It's the first 5 games.
Yeah.
You got to beat Peanut Butter. You got to beat Oklahoma State. You got to beat UAB. Now, that sets up momentum for SEC. That's where you get your Auburn win. Neutral site, Jerry's World, not really a neutral site, but this is a game you got to have. So for you to hit the 7, I think you've got to hit the 5. And because Tennessee, LSU, Mizzou, Texas, Ole Miss, those are going to be, I ain't going to lie, tough pills to swallow, but Mississippi State's beatable, while Texas beatable. So if Arkansas is going to win 7, they got to win the first 5.
I would go, I like that logic, but I'll say 4-1 in the first 5. State, Tech, there's you 6. I think they could pull an upset, whether it's Tennessee, whether it's Ole Miss, whether it's Texas. One of those games at home, I think they'll steal at least. Hell, throw LSU into there. Well, no, Will Campbell, he's got me convinced. Never mind, forget LSU. But Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas, I think Arkansas, if they cave like they had the last couple of years, not a shot in hell. But if they're better, with Bobby Petrino calling the plays, with Sam Pittman, more emphasis on the offensive line, defense continues to take stride. Mark my word, Shane, they're going to beat one of those teams. Tennessee, Texas, or Ole Miss, all 3 at home. They'll win one of those games.
Yeah, it may be right. Again, you got an excited quarterback. We got a new coordinator that we're all pumped up to see. We got a loaded wide receiver room, plenty of depth on that. So it could happen. You know what I'm saying? And this defense could be sneaky good. We're hearing great things out of camp. So I'm not convinced that Sam loses his job. I'm not convinced. They talked about SEC Media Days having him at 14. He didn't have him at 14. 2 thumbs at this guy. Now, I may have had him at 13 or 12, I believe. But, again, I think that a lot of people they're going to get a game. They're going to get one of those games like you were talking about. They're going to sneak up on it. I'm just not going to put any money on it right now. But, yeah, man, that's the beauty of the SEC. The bottom tier really is Vanderbilt and Mississippi State right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, Shane, how about Cousin Dakota? $20. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, cuz.
Thanks, cuz.
He says, all I have left after NIL and sane politicos. Not sure what that is, but hey, appreciate your cousin. He's a big Mizzou fan, Shane. So let's kick it over to Missouri. I got some comments here from Drink recapping the first week of fall camp. They just had their first scrimmage, Shane. We're already in the scrimmage season. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mm-hmm. But here's Drink, week 1 highlights here.
Yeah, we're 5 practices in. A lot of sloppy football that is typical as you work your way through fall camp. You're never as far along as you'd like to be. But I think the players have had really good attitudes. I think they've tried to be very coachable. I think they've been very attentive to the details. that the coaches have asked them. They've responded every time we've challenged them. So I've been pleased in those regards. Obviously, the execution is lacking. There's still a lot of open competition. I've been impressed with the way players have come in and attacked the competition. But, 5 practices in, today we had, some really good on-good situations. And I know everybody's looking forward to the live scrimmage on Monday where we'll know a little bit more about where we're at.
All right, Shade. So, again, not too much being revealed there by Drink, but, he's in a similar position to Lane Kiffin, I think, where maybe a little bit tired of all the people like us hyping them up, saying they could win the SEC, go to make college football playoff. I mean, this is all uncharted territory for Mizzou, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. And it's he didn't say, what was he? He always said the standards. Mm-hmm. We're not worried about outside expectations. We got internal standards. And I think that's what Drink knows. He knows that they're on the fringe of being something special there in Mizzou. And it's going to take an extra effort. It's going to take an extra gear. And maybe that's why he was a little frustrated, because he wasn't seeing that. Maybe he's seeing something what he saw last year or the year before, but it's going to take more if this is going to be a playoff football team.
Yep. And then one other, I really like this comment, Shane. This is a little bit more insightful from Drink, but, they added Caden Green, in case you hadn't heard, from Oklahoma. Former 5-star elite lineman. Was he going to come in to play tackle? That was the expectation. And then they added SMU starting tackle Marcus Bryant, who is, I believe, 2-time All-Conference at left tackle. So there's kind of a battle there. Who's going to be guard? Who's going to be tackle? Let's kick it over to Drink after the first week or so of practice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Caden played the entire spring at tackle, and we just kind of let him see how he looked there, and then, kind of tried to peek at what was best for him. He felt like he was a little bit more comfortable at guard. Doesn't mean we wouldn't slide him back out to tackle if we needed to, but he's looked really good in there. Obviously, he's getting to go against some really good guys right now. I think C7 and Christian Williams have been having a really good camp, so it's been good to see those guys be challenged. As far as Marcus Bryant and Javen, I mean, they're switching back every other day, and really we'll let that live scrimmage kind of tell us, where we're at. A lot of growth needs to be had, though, with the offensive line right now.
But, Shane, is this a good problem to have? You got too many pieces to work with. I'd rather have that than struggling to find out if we have a left guard, if we have a left tackle in the roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes if you're looking at like an internal lineman, something like that, that's going to open up more avenues in the NFL if you can kind of swing around those positions. So, yeah, I embrace this. I embrace challenges, and that's just going to make this offensive line better. And you can kind of sense it in his voice. He just wants to see it when the lights are on. What's it look like when we got some live actions? And so that's why that scrimmage is going to help out. I did notice, though, I don't know, audio listeners probably don't know, but ever since interview with that SEC podcast, it seems like he's growing a little cousin Shane out there. Is he maybe anticipating my visit November 9th? Huh? We twinsies?
Hey, look at this one from Beauregard, Shane. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, cuz.
Glad the season's getting going for y'all, and thanks for the off-season content. What else is there to say but go Vols? We appreciate you, bro, there. I didn't have anything to talk about with Tennessee, but heck, since the donation, we got to talk something here, Shane. Tennessee schedule, let me throw it up here. Now that you know, because you've been so disrespectful from NC State, said, hey, get the hell out of here. Yeah. Now that you know they're preseason top 25, does that raise the nervousness or the hype for that game? What thoughts on that now that we know for sure NC State's a top 25 team?
Hell no, Mike. I ain't worried about no damn Wolfpack. Unless they got Torrey Holt suiting up over there, Remember, I'll always go back to to that Amerson game. I love that. That was my favorite. They made that kid sound like he was God's gift to football, and then Cordero Patterson just torched his ass the entire game. So, yeah, I am not worried about NC State. They're fun. They're fun to talk about. They got cool uniforms. They had a good basketball team, but their football team is about to get destroyed by the Tennessee Volunteers. Clip it, NC State.
How sad is it, though, that Derek Dooley moment is one of your highlights there?
Unfortunately, as I'm talking, I'm thinking about that stupid picture when he's got that leather helmet on. Do you remember that one? Yeah. He's like really zoomed in. It's been on. There's a lot of memes when we went through the decade of dysfunction. But yeah, that's that. If Dooley can beat you, Heupel can beat him.
Well, someone that has beaten them, Shane. Let's kick it over to South Carolina. Shane Beamer. They've opened camp down there. Biggest position battles there in South Carolina. What are they? Let's kick it over to Beamer.
And is there one position group or position competition that you're looking at more than any other over these next 30 days that says we've got to take care of that above all?
Yeah, great question. Yes and no. I think there's a lot. I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I really do believe there's multiple. We met as a staff this morning, and I talked about all the things that really excite me about this team, which there's a lot, but then all of the things that are, I don't want to say concerns, but are questions that we have to answer, and there's multiple. And who the kicker is going to be, is something that we have to figure out. What does that I'm going to go through basically every position, David. I'm sorry. But essentially, okay, if O'Donnell Fortune's coming into the season as one starting corner, what does that opposite corner battle look like? Nick Emanwari and DQ Smith come into the preseason as our two starting safeties. What does the depth look like behind those guys? How is this linebacker rotation going to shake out? Because you guys have heard me say it. We basically had a 3-man rotation last year. I feel confident saying that we could have as much as a 7-8-man rotation as far as guys, if they continue to come along, that I feel like can help us win SEC football games. What does that shake out, or how does that shake out? Same thing, we feel good about the D-line group, but what's the rotation there? Obviously, everybody wants to talk about the offensive line and the receiver position. So I would probably say that one to answer your question, just what it looks like. Not that we don't have capable people, because we do, but we've got more depth and athleticism and competition than last year on really every position, but particularly on the offensive line and at the receiver position. And it's the truth that if you ask me today, what will the starting 5 look like on the offensive line game 1, and who are your top 6 receivers game 1, it really truly is still to be determined. So I think a little bit of everything. There's competition. What does Lenoris and Robbie in that situation? How does that continue to come along? Davis Bevel, but probably most pertinent, most important right now would be, they're all important, but the most up in the air probably the receiver rotation and how that shakes out.
Shane, one thing that, again, I'm not surprised by any means, but I just love the fact that was the last fall camp preview series we did. Go check that out if you missed it. But South Carolina, and hey, I thought maybe I was a little too high, but South Carolina fans say, hey, you ain't high enough. But I think they appreciated the optimism, because, yeah, that's kind of what the offseason is for some people. It's eternal hope. Other times it's negativity. But then once the season rolls around, Shane, again, we're going to whoop everyone's ass. We're going to surprise everybody. But, again, I love the fact that we're getting some optimism out of this Columbia, as well as obviously the other one.
Mike, they're kind of like, for me, the Arkansas this side of the Mississippi, as far as fans. Because when we did our preview, I felt better about South Carolina after it. I felt like I was too low. Maybe I wasn't giving them enough respect. But then when you go online and I'm listening to these fans and cousins say, man, that's a little too optimistic. When your own fan base thinks that 7 wins is not realistic, then I kind of pump the brakes. But how many times are we wrong? And I'm not saying that Beamer just came out and gave me goosebumps because I feel better about this football team, but he didn't really say anything that we didn't know. We knew that the offensive line and the wide receivers were going to be the question marks, but everything I'm hearing is that this offensive line is much improved, and that this offensive line, with the addition of Rocket Sanders and what Lenore and Robbie can do, all of a sudden we may be a rushing football team. And And just like LSU, that changes everything. And now Lenore Silas doesn't have to win it with his arm. So, I've been down on South Carolina, but I'm pausing it now for a minute. Now, if they lose to Kentucky, I'm back on it, and we're firing Beamer. That's it. He's out of here.
And the truth is, Shane, Carolina fans will be right there with you. You know what I mean? It's just a roller coaster of emotions.
Absolutely.
That's the way it's been. But again, sorry if you just said this, but Rocket Sanders too. I mean, don't forget.
Yeah,
I mean,
I did.
2 years ago, guy led the SEC in rushing. I think that cannot be said enough. Just what a huge impact player he was. He was banged up all last year. Dan Eno's offense was complete garbage.
Yeah.
He didn't have any blocking. If they could block for him, unleash his ass, and then all of a sudden here, like you just brilliantly said, Shane, could be a rushing machine down there.
Mm-hmm.
And if the video game's any indication, like you said, Lenore Sellers, he's going to be an all-star. He may win the Heisman in 2 years here.
He's in our dynasty year 3. He's fourth right now.
Yeah.
Granted, all of our running backs are like killing records, but he's still being noticed as a Heisman front runner. So yeah, you talked about it in the offseason when we did our quarterback rankings. You know, there's been some people that have said Sellers could, not this year, but at some point become a first round draft pick. And if that truly is the trajectory of that quarterback room, watch South Carolina shine, son.
Yep. Hey, how about cousin Cameron here, Shane? Media's been quiet on Mississippi State. Lebby is a dark horse. We going bowling Hail State.
Now.
Appreciate you, cousin Cameron. And we got a comment here from Mr. Jeff Lebby. Shane, I thought this was a pretty good one here. But hey, this give you a real indication of what's going on in Starkville right now. I just thought this was brilliantly stated by Coach Jeff Lebby.
Your freshmen that got here in January to the guys that are just trying to figure out where to go on campus?
Yeah, we've got guys that understand how to run, and then we've got guys that are learning how to walk. I mean, that's really what it is. So, again, trying to get those guys up to speed. The guys that came in June, they had really good summers. But at the same time, this was day one for them practicing with us. So they got to get up to speed. They're finishing up finals right now, so there's some give and take with that too academically. But they're guys that are trying to do what we're asking them to do.
Throughout the summer, how do you just
I just think that's great, Shay. We got some guys that can run. We got other guys we're teaching them how to walk. But I mean, I think that is really
like
at least. Yeah.
This guy can. Oh, I'm over here. This guy can run. And this guy barely walks. But I will say, killer hat. Audio listeners didn't get to see if you get a chance. I would love to have that state hat.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, they're styling and profiling down there, Shane. I don't know if you've noticed them. They're changing the logo. They got hats out here. But again, week one, they're going to blow the doors off that team.
Yeah.
It's all about week 2 for me. Because if we can get some momentum, we can go on the road and beat Arizona State. That's a big if. You know, maybe if that was in Starkville with the Cowbells, I'd feel a lot more confident. But again, that's a crossroads type game. If you can, I don't even know if stealing's the right word, but if just win it, just win that, you'll beat the hell out of Toledo, and then you're going to have a lot of momentum for Florida coming into town. And who knows? Florida will have already played Miami and A&M. If they lose both of those, I think Mississippi State gets them. I don't even think that's a bold take. Do you?
No, I'm telling you right now, Mississippi State, we've not done preview for these guys, but you talk about most important games. I've got September 21st circled, and that's against the Florida Gators because that's your game, man. That's the one where you sell your fan base to show, hey, this is what the future is going to look like for State. Just be patient. Lebby's got to get his guys in there, get acclimated. This team is going to be exciting. It's going to be fun to watch, and we are going to catch some people. We are going to. It may not be, an Alabama or a Georgia, but a Florida, very reasonable. Texas A&M. What if? I mean, all these teams that are kind of sitting out there, these fringe teams. There may be one or two on there that they catch. But that September 21st, that's the one, if you're going to surprise some folks, I've got, because if you could start out 3-0, by gosh, like you said, in Florida, maybe a rough start with Miami or Texas A&M, that could be a very interesting football game.
Right. Hey, last one I got here, Shane. We got comments from Jalen Milroe, one of the best players in the country at the end of last season, nearly won the Heisman Trophy after leading Alabama to the SEC championship. Oh, son of a bee! We might have to hold it on. This is another one I forgot to load up.
This guy, can't take him anywhere. We're not quite in season, but we're not in season form yet.
Right. Well,
do you want me to talk for a long time? Tell a story.
Yeah, go ahead. I found it already.
Oh, well, I'll tell you. So one thing that we've been doing is this college football video game. And me and Mike and my brother are the only ones that are playing this thing because online I'm going to get destroyed. I can't handle these kids. My daughter, she talked me into Fortnite. I swear to gosh, if you never played that game, people are building houses around me and then just opening up a window and shooting me. So I'm not good at video games, but so we're doing this dynasty, and I'll never forget the old dynasty. Mike changed the skill level on me. So we're doing good. We're playing and whatever. And I get up and I'm playing my game. I get up before everybody else. This is back in the day that, you didn't have online and you could just do it from your house. We had to do it one console. So I'm playing Rice. I am Rice. And I'm playing, and my little halfback plays, or my little tight end plays ain't working no more. Because I'm a gimmick guy. I got like 3 or 4 gimmicks that I like to do. And I'm moving the chains or whatever, and it's not working. I get to the very end, and I end up turning it off. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just play again. I'll reset it. Nobody knows. Mike wakes up right when I do that and comes down there and sees me busted. But to be fair, I didn't realize he changed it to Heisman overnight. So that's my – yeah. Did I waste enough time, Mike?
Yeah, that's perfect. Here's Jalen Milroe Shade. He says he compares playing for Nick Saban to playing for Kalen DeBoer. I just thought this was interesting.
Coach Saban, super intense. I mean, every coach.
Yeah.
DeBoer's got this more
Yeah.
back smiles, a little more, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just 2 different styles. There's no right or wrong. It's been awesome to have Coach DeBoer here and just to be around him. He brings good energy each and every day. And what I'm seeing is a lot of the guys are having fun. Having fun, but also demanding excellence out of each other. And we all have a common task, which is to be successful. Not to win championship, to be successful. And attacking each and every day. And so that once you do that, that's going to build into championships. It's just having that mindset of going 1-0 each and every day, relentless pursuits of continuous improvement. And that's something we have. And while you're doing that, it's having fun. And so that's something that I've seen is that we have a lot of guys that's grinding towards a common goal, but also just having the opportunity to just enjoy the process.
Have you seen him get mad?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, Shane, they're having fun down there. Is that good for – I mean, Nick Saban must be rolling over in his grave.
He's not dead yet, Mike. He's just right down the hall. So, no, I think obviously fun is what you're going to have. But, one of the cousins just mentioned that it's confidence too.
Yeah.
And one thing about Jalen is I felt like he had such a rough start last year because he did lack that confidence. And I felt like he built it up a little bit during that Aggie game, and then it kind of flourished and became something. So he's night and day, brother. I mean, him on the mic today compared to last year, dropping F-bombs and talking about, give him the damn Heisman kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're night and day. This is the quarterback that's leading this team to a playoff spot. So that I love this. I think this is great. He's an awesome team leader. And if he builds that confidence like they're doing here in the offseason, watch out, brother. He may get the Heisman.
Right. And I think I think I've said this before, Shane. I'll continue to say it. I think Alabama's the most dangerous team in the country.
Yeah.
Because if anybody, I saw Sven there in the comments, but aside from Sven, I don't know anybody outside of diehard Alabama fans that are picking them to win the national championship. And they got damn near as much talent as anybody in the country. And given their coach's track record, he may be the best coach in the country. And we'll find out this fall, of course, whether he really is or not. But dangerous team. This may be the only time ever where Alabama is an underdog against Georgia. You know what?
Yeah. every non-Bama fan hopes they fall. I mean, you talk about pressure. The board's got it down there, but everybody wants them to not succeed. And you come out here, if you beat Georgia, what is that, week 4, brother? Come on now. Everybody will be like, damn, they ain't ever going to suck again,
Yeah, it's actually week 5. Each of those teams, Shane, get 2 weeks to prepare. So we're going to be talking about that game every day for 2 weeks.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to be an awesome one, brother.
Yep.
Aren't you pumped up? Aren't you damn pumped up for some college football? Every team you talk about, undefeated right now. Everything's good. Everything's so good. So I'm ready for some football, man.
Even Vanderbilt's undefeated right now, Shane.
Yeah. Do we got clips, or we just got to talk? Is that?
I've tried to find. I mean, they've got some out there, but none worth sharing. To be honest,
just keep showing the stadium. We'll just keep doing the stadium arenas. Show you how far along they are.
But all right, hey buddy, that's all I got on this episode of the show. You got anything before we hop off the line?
No. Again, it's good. It's so good to be back in form. Apologize if I was late. I'll get on that Pilates instructor tomorrow, but we'll be back tomorrow. So are we doing late night? Is that what we're doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow's me and Steven, SEC After Dark. We will be going live.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock Eastern,
Yeah.
7 Central.
Yeah, absolutely. So be sure to tune in to that one. Little late start, and yeah, man, it's here. We're in full swing, and we get any more action, just go over to the YouTube. The notifications, have those on. Hit the like button if you're down there in the comments right now. The like button truly helps us. I think. I don't know. I'm not. I would imagine more likes are better. Steal your kid's phone, your parents' phone. Just subscribe. It really does. I'd love to get us over 30,000 before the year starts. But brother, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. It was a long, long off season, but man, we got real content now, and I love it.
Yeah, thank goodness. So I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. See you guys. Go Vols.